that is subtle. A man does the work, he breaks through pattern, he learns the language of presence, he walks cleaner, speaks slower, holds stronger. And then he begins to identify with it. At first it's innocent, it's a new rhythm of truth, a new sense of groundedness, a new peace in his heart. But over time, if he's not careful, his coherence becomes a costume, not for the world, but for himself. He begins to wear it, to lean into it as identity, to believe that because he's shed distortion, he's above it. He doesn't say this aloud. Coherent men rarely do. But it shows in how he listens. Impatiently, quietly judging. It shows in how he moves. He's calculated, restrained, almost performative. It shows in how he teaches, as if he no longer remembers what it was like to crawl. This is the crown of coherence, the one he places upon his own head in the silence of being the man who made it through, the one who sees everything, the one who no longer breaks, the one who is done. But coherence is not a crown. It's not proof. It's not a badge. It's not a symbol of elevation or elevated spiritual status. Coherence is a gate. It's a threshold, an access point, a place through which you begin the next level of responsibility. Not to lead, not to ascend, but to build. True coherence opens the door to work that is not about you. It moves from personal healing to collective architecture, from your pain to the pattern underneath all pain. But you cannot carry your identity through this gate, not even the identity of coherent man, especially not him, because the moment coherence becomes a title, it ceases to be coherent. Isn't that ironic? It becomes performance again, just a little bit cleaner, quieter, wrapped in sacred language. And when you begin to transmit distortion through stillness, you teach presence with your words and begin to transmit distortion through stillness. You teach presence with your words, but vibrate superiority through your field. You claim neutrality, but calibrate others through judgment. You guide, but quietly expect reverence. And when you're challenged, you don't rage, you withdraw. Because you believe that silence equals integrity, that being unfazed is proof of embodiment, that holding the field means never being touched. But a man who cannot be touched also cannot build anything real, because architecture is built with hands, not with distance. The gate of coherence is not a pedestal, it's a threshold. You don't stand upon it, you step through it, and you leave behind everything that allowed you to reach it, because it no longer serves what now must be built. This is why many men who find clarity become stuck within it. They mistake the moment of coherence for the destination. But coherence is not the arrival, it's the beginning of deeper responsibility, of higher precision, of holding contradiction without collapse. It's the moment you realize that the work ahead is no longer about finding yourself, but becoming a structure that can hold others without losing your own shape. If you've reached coherence but find yourself defending it, you've not stepped through the gate. You're still polishing your own crown. If you require others to mirror back your depth, you're still grasping for recognition instead of becoming the recognition itself. If you recoil from challenge but call it discernment, you're still performing sovereignty instead of living it. And if you teach from a place that needs others to know what you've survived, then your coherence is still rooted in story. But true coherence doesn't need a witness. It doesn't require acknowledgement. It doesn't move to prove anything. It just is unshakable, indifferent to approval, immovable in silence. So if you feel resistance now, right now, that's good, because the crown is seductive. It makes you believe you're finished, that you're now above pain, above distortion, above being seen clearly by others. But the man who steps through the gate doesn't claim to be above. He's underneath. He becomes the ground. We've talked about this. The ground upon which new field is formed. He stops seeking elation and starts building corridors for others to walk cleanly. This man no longer teaches to be seen. He teaches so others can see themselves. He no longer fears contradiction. He weaves it. He no longer holds position. He becomes pattern. And so the invitation is this: set down your crown, step through the gate, leave behind the need to be known as the one who walked through the fire, because the next architecture will not be built by men who survived. It'll be built by men who no longer needed to say that they did. And it will be built by those who know that coherence is not an achievement. It's a place, a gate, a field. And what you do after you enter it, that is what reveals the man. This is The Architect Speaks.